So, this is my opinion on Cade's Dark Embrace by Kim Grosso. Confession time! I didn't finish it. I made it. It's an 8-hour audiobook, and I made it to 5 hours left. I made it almost to the halfway point. This one really got me hooked in on the premise because it sounded like it was gonna be more of a mystery detective whodunit sort of thing with a romance thrown on with it. So I was kind of down for that. And I got almost to the halfway point, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. This is, yeah, I'm sorry. I waved the white flag in defeat on this one because this wasn't even one where there was one thing in particular I didn't like, where it was like, I didn't like the character, or I didn't like the plot, or something like that, where I can usually muscle through if it's just like one thing that I don't really like. I'm like, okay, usually I can just be like, tough it out and just see how it ends. Who knows, maybe it'll surprise me in the end. But this one, it was just bad. Like, even in the first chapter, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Um, so the main character, Sydney, she's a detective in Philadelphia, which is a fine premise. But God, she was annoying as a lead because her whole thing is that she talks, and I don't know entirely what the world is. It's a world where vampires and at the very least wares, shifters of all kinds, are out in the open. They're common knowledge, and magic is a thing that it takes place in this world. I don't know how long it's been out in the open. It sounds like it's been a while. That it's enough that it's a normal part of society, but there's still tension because obviously humans be racist. So it starts out that literally within like the first chapter, like the first opening scene is our guy Kade, who he's bland. He is like so cookie cutter. He has a slight British accent, and that is all I can tell you about his personality. I mean, I literally got halfway through this book, and that is the most I know about this guy, is that he is British, but from Louisiana. That's all I got. So, it's literally opens with him showing up in Philadelphia, and he sees her. Of course, they don't know who each other are yet, but he's just like, oh, she's hot. It's been a while since I've had a good bone, so I kind of want to hit her. Like, let's do that. And yeah, that kind of sets you for, you're like, okay, this is the kind of book we're in for. So it goes, and it's supposed to be Sydney's night off, and she gets a call that they found a body, and she's like, oh fuck, it's my day off, damn it, but fine, I'll go. So she goes to the crime scene, and it's like this ritualistic killing thing, and yeah, and Cade shows up on the scene, of course, and he says that he's a part of PCAP. I don't remember what the abbreviation stands for, but it's basically a branch of the police department that handles all supernatural cases, anything to do with vampires, wares, or magic, apparently. And throughout this, Sydney has stated specifically she hates the supernatural. She hates working with supernatural. She hates dealing with it. And I'm like, okay, fair enough start. She can start where she's got some prejudice against the supernaturals, overcoming this prejudice throughout the book. Okay, I can get behind this. And she's such your typical, I'm a cop. That I was just like, oh boy, she's one of those that it's. And there's also some serious inconsistencies with her character. Like, there's a point where she's talking about that, like, she's like, I'm only 28, I don't want kids and a husband right now, just because of the risk of her job, that, there's a good chance she won't come home. So she's like, okay. I was like, all right, cool. Kids not now, but in the future. But then later on in the book, she's like, oh, no, I'm gonna have kids, never gonna settle down. I was like, wait, what? Like, I get writing inconsistencies into your characters and, like, contradictions, because that's how people are. They have inconsistencies and contradictions. It's totally fine, but it's something 180 like that, because that's the other thing with her contradictions, is she has said she hates weird, she doesn't like the supernatural, doesn't want to deal with them, and yet she's got a werewolf fuck buddy named Tristan, who it was like, oh, okay, so she doesn't even throw in like a throwaway line of like, Tristan's one of the good ones, like he helped her out on some case, some even bullshit explanation of why she's cool with Tristan and why they hook up on the regular. The only thing we know is that they do. They're fuck buddies. Because then it's like the way she writes it, it almost sounds like Tristan maybe wants something more with Sydney. That it was like maybe there's something more going on there, but she specifically kiboshes it, saying that like wares or specifically wolves don't get in permanent relationship with humans. So it was like, okay, so that's pretty kiboshed right there. Uh, this is also just inexplicable attraction. Like Kade and Sydney just need to be with each other. It makes no sense. Like I can get, thinking somebody's hot and being like, I'm DTF, but being like this, I need you, you're going to be mine. And they literally, up to the point where I was at, they'd known each other for 48 hours, and Kade was swooping her away to go to New Orleans because, of course, you find out that the villain is a psycho ex of his, and she wants revenge, and she wants Kade back because female villains can't have any other motivation outside of women scorned. So it was just like, God damn it. And the other thing with Kade is that he says he's a part of this PCAP task force. He's not. But they keep pretending like he is. It's just one of those things that was just like, why aren't they saying he's not? Like, why doesn't he just say, oh yes, I'm a consultant, I was brought in specifically to help with this case, I have information that could be useful. Because he's like a head vampire in New Orleans. So it's like, okay, he's important, he has some clout, okay, this could work. And just like, Sydney's also so annoying because the supernaturals are way, way stronger than a normal human. It's fair enough. They usually are. But she keeps like, I don't need your protection. I don't need your help. And she just gets her ass handed to her. And I'm just like, honey, you say you hate dealing with supernaturals. The thing is like, the victims are humans in this case. But the perpetrator is definitely a supernatural. It falls into supernatural jurisdiction. And she's like, I'm not letting go of this case. I'm like, why? You have specifically stated you hate working with supernaturals. You hate working supernatural cases. Why are you holding on to this? Like, I get it. You want to get justice for these girls, and that's a fine motivation, but your own issues with the supernaturals should make you want to get hell and away from this case. So, yeah, not a fan of this. And just, there is no chemistry between her and Kate. There is just, oh my god, they're just, I want to screw you. And somehow he's just going, you're mine. And I'm just like, oh. Yeah, so I made it almost to the halfway mark in this before I couldn't do it anymore. I wasn't even that interested in the murder mystery because you find out who's doing the crime in the first, like, by the, I guess would be like the 4 hour, it's like the 3 hour mark. That it's like, you find out who the killer is, and I'm just like, you just killed your suspense for finding out. That was part of what intrigued me about this premise, was it sounded like it was going to be a mystery, and it was going to be the find the serial killer, part of the fun of that. And it wasn't. It was just, oh, there's only, basically Kate is like, wow, there's only one person I know of that could be doing this. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess there goes the suspense on that front. And it wasn't even like some other books I've read where it's like a reoccurring villain when they're just like, who could it be? And I'm like, it's that guy. It's him. He's the only villain we have established. It's gonna be him. So this one, yeah, I couldn't do it. I tried. I really wanted to give up after the first hour, but I was like, no, keep going, give it a shot. And God, at the halfway point, almost, I was like, I gotta cut it. I can't. So, yeah, Cade's Dark Embrace, which, stupid title for one. Like, God, you could have done with something more interesting, especially with the premise that you have set up. So yeah, not a fan. Honestly, this gets a 1 out of 5 on Goodreads from me. Again, I didn't finish it. That's an automatic 1 out of 5 because I couldn't finish it. I was that just like with it. So yeah, I haven't picked out my next books yet. I'm going to do that right now. Try to look through, see if something catches my eye. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Cade's Dark Embrace.